Roger, once again, Mudfossil University, talking about mud fossil eyes. Now, I've been saying, oh, you gotta have mud fossil eyes to see these things. And then I said, no, Roger, you're wrong. It has nothing to do with eyes. It has to do with a mud fossil mind. You gotta muddy your mind before you can see. Now, when I say mud fossil eyes, I say, oh, you look at the rocks and you see this and you see the blood vessels and you see the anatomy and the biology and the transition metal colors and all that stuff. And it all is obvious when you understand, and I say mud fossil eyes. Well, some people can't see that, but they can see it. But they can't see it. So there's nothing wrong with their eyes. It's between their eyes and their mind. Now, let's look at something else. This is another mud fossil eye-mind deal. You look at this, you say, ooh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Yes, it is. Well, what is it? There's a place from Smarter Every Day. And I look at it, and I thought, and I saw it, and I said, boy, that's interesting. It's like, it's a bullet. And, let me just go to the end of the story here. It's a bullet. Now, so I'm thinking, that is so interesting because there's a different situation going on here. Why is that white only at the bottom of that trail? How come the white isn't at the top? How come it's glowing at the bottom part of the bullet but not at the top? Why is that? That's not right. How come? Now, why is this waffle looking thing going down here? You see it? And that little waffly looking, see this here? And this here, and this here. Why is that pattern emerging? Alright, so I go to my mud fossil mind now because I can see, you can see, we both see the same thing. So what does your mind see? You see that, oh, that's fairly nice, and you go home. Well, you see how this is white trailing off right here? Why is it not trailing off the top? And I'm thinking, there's a situation going on here, because first of all, you have rifling in a barrel of a gun, and that spins the bullet, and it always spins it to the right, because there's something called a right-hand rule, and we're going to see this in a moment. I have some diagrams that I'll show you now. So what does that mean? It spins to the right. Well, as it's spinning to the right, it's plowing the electrons towards us, and the ones at the top are being pushed away from us, so they're not like forced into a realm that they're forced into a realm that pushes away. These are forced into a realm that's pushing towards us, just like a light would emit light. That one's emitting light, but it's going the other direction. If you were on the other side of this bullet, you would see that part glowing, I believe. So that way I would love to see somebody do that. Now, because if you turn a gun upside down, it doesn't matter. You're going to get the same spin, but it's just going to be going that way, so you'll have all the same characteristics. Now, let's decide, why is that glowing? Why is that all this torn off white looking stuff? It's like the sun's hitting and blowing it off of there. Why is this big white trail coming off of here? And why is that white up this side here and not white on this side? Very, very interesting. Why is this so white at the top and not so white at the bottom? And so white at the bottom and not so white at the top? A lot of things to consider. Right? I think that this is because of the spin of the bullet. And the same thing, this waffle here is like a propeller going through the air. Now, let's go see what happens in the molecules, because it has to break through molecules. This air is just not nothing here. There's molecules in here, and they're all sitting there being happy. Everybody's having a nice time, and they're just enjoying each other, and then all of a sudden this thing comes. And what happens then? This is taken at 28,546 frames per second. That is a lot of times. It's taking a picture every second. So this is one of those pictures. So it's a 28,546th of a second done. Now, let's go see what is the pictures that I drew about this. Once again, Childlike Productions presents A Bullet in Air. And I'm going to tell you something. Kids learn better than adults, because the first thing they do is they shut off their mind. An adult, a kid looks and they go, huh, and they start asking questions. Then you're good to go. You can't miss it once you start asking questions. But when they say shut up and sit down and just listen, you just destroyed a kid. All right, now, here's what happened. That bullet's coming through here. Zzz, this is called a right-hand rule. Everything that spins in nature naturally spins to the right. They don't spin to the left unless they are violating the law. Now, what does that mean? So it spins... Okay, here's what my mud fossil mind sees here. That bullet is coming through the air at extremely high velocity. It is spinning to the right. That is the right-hand rule. Everything does unless it opposes nature. And in that case, it's like an anti-spin to the left. Now, it has rifling on it. And they don't go that many spins, but they're longer like lines, but it does make it spin. Now, what does that mean? There's like a little trough wherever those cuts are. Now, that trough is going to force around, and now that trough goes this way. It's pushing the air molecules literally in that direction. As it comes back around this side, it's literally pushing the molecules in this direction. So, these molecules of air were out here just floating around. The atoms were just sitting around, and they own a region around their core, which we never see. That little green spot is too tiny to see. But it has an effect in a distance quite significantly around it. So if it is pushed and crushed, and that distance is compacted like this one, it's going to glow. Now, here's like this type here where there's no glow. They're just sitting around because everybody's equal around all sides. If it comes and smashes against a wall or gets pushed down like something like this, or if a point comes and pushes into it, these are going to glow. That's why we see that big glow coming off the sides. Now, why is the glow coming off the bottom and not at the top, which we talked about? Because that thing's spinning those electrons towards us. It's throwing them at us, literally. It's crashing them into the air that is on this side and forcing those things to shoot out at us as light. That's what I'm saying. If you were on the other side of this bullet, your light would be coming at you from the top. Could be wrong. Because I also considered it has something to do with gravity, which is nothing more than the positive pull of the Earth against electrons. That's what gravity is. Because there's not one single thing that doesn't have electrons coating it. Every single atom there is coated with electrons. Those electrons want to be on earth ground. That's what they say, earth ground. Obviously, you get static electricity on you, that's electrons. Bip, they jump to ground. Lightning wants to be in the ground. If it can overcome the resistance of the air, it will go to ground. That's what lightning is. Electricity, you take a wire and you put it near the ground, it will, and all those electrons will find ground. So I say maybe Earth is sucking those electrons down. If I was on the other side and I saw the light coming down, I would say, all right, now we got an issue here, that it is all gravity. But it could be either or at this point. But that's what we're seeing is the light here, but in this side it pushes away at the top, and we're not seeing any light. You saw that. And as at this side, we're seeing an extreme amount of light because it's throwing them at us. That's my interpretation. And I want to show you something else about how you should view things. All right, I want you to know that not everything is what you see is correct. I agree with that. People are doing these silly fake things. I don't know why they're doing them, but I got fooled by this. I was fooled by this. This guy did this, and he kept going, and he kept making it, and he ended up here where he had blood coming out of it, and he said some farmer shot this thing. And I'm thinking to myself, that damn thing is so perfect. And I mean, it was. I was really kind of shocked when I saw it. So I did more and more investigation. Sure enough, I came up with this. It wasn't true. So don't. Even though you see something that's exactly flawless, it's got the blood, it's got the colors, it's called, that doesn't necessarily mean it's true. So you got to do a little more, go as deep as you can go. Don't grab anything right off the shelf. Let me put it that way. All right, if you're not familiar with the dragon, you have to go up here on Mudfossil University YouTube and look up the dragon in the desert. And here it is right here. Well, I may not say dragon in the desert, but I got a lot of them on a dragon. I've been showing this for years, and there is no question what it is. That's a dragon, absolutely no question. And it's just too much for people to even talk about. It seems. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say. But in other words, the reason I'm showing you the dragon is this one here. There is no question. This dragon is real. The other one, I was fooled by. This you cannot be fooled by. This is no way in the world any human being made this or any creature made this other than God. It's 1,000 miles long. So go up there and check it out. All right, Mudfossil University. Talk to people that are outside your circle of friends, because you need to start confronting people to get into reality. We're just living in a fantasy world, and they're laughing at you because you're living in the reality, and they're laughing at you, and they're laughing at me. I don't like it. It's time to start taking things for real.